So you guys have questions? Do you need some questions?
I'm okay.
You sure you guys are?
Oh, so you're asking them off this?
Yes, we're asking them off of this.
No, you probably need to just peruse that and just, we're not gonna take papers up there. You wrote it, you commit, sometimes when you
Are you
commit it to memory as you're writing, you should be committing that to memory. Okay, you know yourself, so
Are you serious?
I am so serious.
Are you serious?
This is
Okay,
There's nothing in there.
time out.
This is already recording.
Yeah,
All right.
they're okay. I say the same thing all the time, but then my parents are like, ooh, if this
All right, so I want to welcome you guys here to College Camp, and excited that you all are here. And we're going to have a panel discussion this morning of various questions that you all have had the opportunity to answer. And my distinguished panel are going to ask you each one question apiece, and then we're just going to see how you guys respond to it. So when I call your name, you can get up there and just say who you are and what high school you go to, and then we'll have the first person ask you the question, okay?
Super.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
Dave, we're going to ask you to go first, please.
Oh, you take no, it's not
introduction, not introduction yet, just ask.
Oh.
And I like that.
I love it.
You ready to get creative?
Okay, so that's good. So what's your name, sir?
My name is David Vincent Lennon. I am 17 years old. I'm going to be a senior at Brookwood High School next year. I live in Snellville, Georgia.
Great, thank you, thank you. So thank you for joining us today. We are actually going to ask you 3 questions today about some questions that we actually got answered just previously here. So we're going to ask Mr. Pavon to actually ask the first question, please.
Okay, Mr. David, what are what are your major academics interests?
That would be sciences and math. More specifically, chemistry and calculus and physics.
Great, thank you.
Good, thank you.
And Ms. Green, would you ask the second question, please?
What courses have given you the most difficulty?
I would say language arts because I have a math science oriented brain, and that's like here, and language arts is like all the way on the other side of the planet, so trying to get to that is just, it's not my strength. That would be why.
Great. And Mrs. Pavon, would you actually ask the last question?
Sure. Mr. David, who or what has been the biggest influence in your life and why?
I would honestly have to say it would be my mother. I interact with her all the time, more than any other adult that I know, and I love her very much.
Oh.
Great, thank you.
Great job.
So, Mr. Joseph, would you please join us next here at the front? So give us your name, Joseph, and just a little bit about yourself.
My name is Joseph McCurry, and I recently go to Brookwood High School, and I want to grow up to be computer technology, and go to computer technology.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining us today. And so we're going to ask you a series of questions, only 3 from the questions that you previously answered here. So what we want to do is ask Miss Nancy if she would actually ask you the first question.
Hi, Joseph. Welcome. Great to have you here. So let me ask you something. What do you consider your greatest strengths?
Probably computer, like in the technology area. I love technology, and I think I consider it my greatest strength.
Okay, and when you say computers, do you like working with computer applications, or do you like fidgeting with like the hardware parts?
The application.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, and Ms. Pavone, would you actually ask the second question, please?
Hi, Joseph, how are you? What circumstances, if any, has interfered with your academic performance?
Probably not willing to do my work as much as I should do. So.
And why is that?
I don't know the answer.
Okay. Thank you. And Ms. Catherine, would you actually ask the last question?
Who has been the greatest influence in your life and why?
Probably my dad, since he's big into computer software too, and he's an accountant and stuff. I guess he's been my biggest influence.
Well, thank you, Joseph, for being with us today. I appreciate that. So, Mr. Ian, would you
No problem.
All right.
I'd love to join.
I don't feel like
Thank
doing
you.
this.
So, Ian, give us your name and tell us a little bit about
My
yourself.
name is Ian Brim Gibson, turned 17 July 4th, attend Brookwood High School.
Great. Thank you for joining us. We actually going to ask you three questions and just looking forward to your answers. So, Mr. Pavone is going to ask you the first question.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
How do you react to setbacks or disappointments?
Setbacks. Yes. Well, I try to do better. I learn from. Make sure it doesn't happen again.
Okay, very good.
Thank you. Ms. Nancy, would you ask the second question, please?
Okay. Hi, Ian.
Hello.
Good morning. What's your career interest, and how exactly did you and how did you become interested in this particular career interest?
Well, I'm interested in marine biology.
Okay.
I got interested in that when I went to visit my godfather in Canada, because he's a marine biologist. I just enjoyed working with him. It was fun.
Good.
Great, thank you. Thank you. And Ms. Ada, would you actually ask the last question, please?
Okay, hi Ian, how are you?
Good.
Which courses have given you the most difficulty?
I have to say physics. That's the hardest one that I've struggled with.
Why?
Just all the problems, equations. It's just hard for me.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ian, for joining us today. I appreciate that. So, join us at the front, please.
Why are you listening to me?
So Cameron, would you introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll proceed into the questions.
Hey, my name is Cameron Green, 17, I attend Brookwood High School. I'm going to be a senior this year. I love to play basketball.
Okay, so Nancy, would you ask the first question?
Yes. Good morning, Cameron. Good to see you this morning. What circumstances, if any, have interfered with your academic performance?
I would say probably like sports, because the time for practice takes up time for that you use for studying. And also distractions in the house, like TV and things, because everybody gets distracted. So
Okay, but you found a way around that.
yes.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pabon, would you ask the second question, please?
All right, that's the same one. All right, how you doing here?
Doing good.
How do you react to setbacks or disappointments?
Well, setbacks and disappointments, I know that you have to persevere through them. So I always try to do better. And you also have to learn from your mistakes. So sometimes setbacks are good for you.
Thank you.
Ah,
Next
Good.
president.
And Ms. Kaplan, would you ask the last question, please?
What do you consider your greatest strengths?
I believe my strengths are humor, logical thinking, and debating. Because I love to be right.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today.
Lawyer.
Mr.
Joel,
Joel. Have you
Joel.
join us up front, please?
Last one.
Stretch it out and come on.
Good. Great. So would you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll proceed into the question.
I am Joel Bell, and I currently attend Brookwood High School.
Great. Thank you. So I'm going to ask Ms. Cologne to ask you the first question.
Hi Joel, how are you?
Not doing very good. How are you?
I'm great. Can you please list some adjectives that you feel describe you?
Well, handsome. I'm a good going person. Friendly, charming, get all the girls.
It's not an adjective, sorry, try.
Smart, strong, and yeah, very humble.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Ms. Nancy, would you ask the second question, please?
yes, good morning, Joel.
Good morning.
What do you consider your greatest weakness?
I'm sorry, I don't have any. Let's see. I guess. When I get angry, I'm really slow to forgive, but it's really slow to get me angry. Like, it takes a long time to get me angry, but when it does happen, it takes a while for me to get over it. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
And Ms. Kaplan, would you ask the last question, please?
What do you choose to learn when you learn on your own?
Anything, anything that might help me out in the future, certain skills, maybe some, yeah, skills. I don't have, just like anything that might help me out in the future.
Okay.
You
That's specific.
anything, I don't know, I can't, it's like so specific.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Joel, for joining us today. So that's good. If you can pause that.
Okay.
So, it's really interesting, and we're not going to go into it because and we have two questions that we want to ask you and see what your answers are to these. So, next, would you ask Keith the two
Good
questions?
afternoon, Keith.
Good afternoon.
Keith, how do you react to setbacks and disappointments?
Well, I think setbacks and disappointments are good because they help you to get better at whatever that setback or disappointment that happened. And if it's bad, you learn from it so you can move on in the long run.
Okay. And also, what is your career interest and how did you become interested in that particular career?
My career interest is sports management. I like to be a sports agent, and I chose this career because I would like to do something that's with sports because I love sports, and if I don't make it pro, I would like to do something that has to do with sports.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask.
Yes. Joseph, thank you for joining us this evening. And we got a couple of questions that we want to ask you just to really understand your answers to the questions, okay? So we're going to actually have Miss Audrey ask those questions of you.
Good evening, Joseph.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
You too.
Who or what has been the biggest influence in your life?
Probably my dad, since he basically does what I want to do, like in the leadership qualities that I have at hand, and he puts forward and helps me go forward in what I'm doing.
What is it he does?
I don't know how to describe what he does. He just always helps people out what they want to do.
And why do you want to be like him?
So I can be a good man and go forth at what I want to do.
Okay. My next question is, what is your career interest and how did you become interested in this career?
My career interest is being a pastor. I'll go into pastoral studies, somewhere around that area. Got interested when I just see how motivated my pastor is and how I would love to do what he does. So that's what I'm interested in doing.
Have you thought about being a junior? Have you done that with children, younger children at your church?
Not really, no.
No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Joseph.
And thank you for joining us this evening. I'm going to actually ask you the two questions for you and just really want to understand your answers to these, okay?
Ask away, Mr. Riaz.
Thank you. Which courses in school have you enjoyed the most and why?
I enjoy U.S. history because it's easy to understand. I like learning about history of the United States. I just enjoy that class.
Okay. And what do you consider your greatest strengths?
I'm smart, intelligent, funny. That's all I can think of right now.
Can you give me an example of one of those strengths that you demonstrate?
I'm funny. I make people laugh.
How do you do that?
There's different ways to make people laugh. I tell jokes.
Okay.
That's the reason.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We got someone that's going to ask you a couple of questions and just want to see how your answers are. Thank you. So Miss Ada is going to answer the questions for you. To
Hi
you.
Cameron, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
What did you choose to learn when you learned on your own?
Could you rephrase the question?
What do you choose to learn when you learn on your own?
Well, I guess like in learning, you can take learning into different categories. Like if you learn in sports, you go outside practice. So I do that practice on techniques and like for example in basketball, I practice dribbling. Since at the time I don't have a hoop, but practice dribbling or whatnot. Or if you're doing like studies such as in school, you can just research over what you learned in class because you might have an upcoming test or just doing your homework. That's basic.
And what do your choices show you about your interests and the way you like to learn?
Well, the choices, well, I guess the main thing, everybody does like to have fun more than learning, but there's a time to learn. So I guess my choices to choose to learn has shown me that I have like discipline to know that there's time to buckle down and do what you have to do.
Has any summer experience, work, or study been a significant importance to you?
Well, this summer I went to a camp called Youth Hope Builders, and that had a big influence on me. It was basically a leadership / Christian camp where we actually went out and did community service and got deeper into the Bible and actually enjoyed the program.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
David?
Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm going to turn this portion of the interview process over to Ms. Kelly, who's going to ask you 2 questions.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. Okay, David, the first question I have for you is, what circumstances, if any, have interfered with your academic performance?
Well, I would have to say friends would have to be the biggest influence, because a lot of times I'll put my friends' interests before I put my own, because I'm a very generous person, and sometimes I let that get in the way. Sometimes I let them get between me and my schoolwork, which I shouldn't let happen, but I don't think about that sometimes, and I need to be more responsible.
And since you're going to be away at college, away from your parents, how do you plan on dealing with that?
If it gets to the point of where my grades start slipping, I'm just going to have to tell my friends, hey, my grades are going down. I can't hang with you anymore until I get them back up. I'm going to have to tell myself that. I'm going to have to grow up and accept my responsibilities.
Okay. And how do you react to setbacks or disappointments?
Well, it depends on the setback, the severity of the setbacks. Sometimes I'll just forget about it and move on, but sometimes I'll look back and I'll see, oh, what did I do wrong? What can I do to improve? How can I make this better? And then I'll go back and change it and see if the improvement won't make anything better.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.